Well, Sláinte, and how do you do, buckaroos? I'm going to be telling the Whiskey Whisper for the purposes of this video, and since we're inching ever so close to Thanksgiving, I thought I'd set a festive backdrop behind me and start my holiday cocktails series. So this one I using Watershed Distillery. It's their straight bourbon whiskey. It's their aged 4 years at 90 proof, finished in apple brandy barrels, blended with straight bourbon whiskeys. So to read a little bit here, to create this balanced blend, we finish hand-selected bourbon whiskey in barrels previously used to age apple brandy and combine it with straight bourbon whiskey, yielding an unparalleled, expertly balanced drinking experience. Our careful blending and layering of flavors builds unique complexity, bold flavor, and rich mouthfeel. We hope you enjoy sipping it as much as we enjoyed creating it. So there we go. Let me show you that bottle. This stuff is crazy good. Unfortunately, they do an apple brandy, but I wasn't able to pick it up when I was there. So I've got 2 ounces of that whiskey. I've got 1 ounce of the Laird's apple brandy. Sort of a riff on a Manhattan, but I've taken out the sweet vermouth completely. I'm using the apple apple brandy finished Watershed bourbon, and then using 1 ounce of the Laird's bottled in bond straight apple brandy at 100 proof, obviously because it's bottled in bond, and then adding the ginger bitters. Let me show you that to give it just a little spice note, kind of get an apple pie kind of feel, if you will. Garnished with a cinnamon stick and a brandied cherry. So Sláinte. For me, this is a drink I want served straight up, just as I would a Manhattan. If you would like to serve it like you would an old-fashioned, there's certainly nothing wrong with that. Others may want to add maybe an ounce or a half ounce of simple just to sweeten it up a tad, but I don't. I don't need that sweetness personally, but I'm old and grizzled. Some of the youngsters need drinks a little sweeter than us old folk. I'm old and grizzled, man. Gosh, that is delicious. It really is. I would say that would be the perfect digestif, right? That's the cocktail you want when you're done, right? Dinner's done, whatever cleaning up you got to do is done. You got the company out the house. You can relax now, so you turn on your favorite Christmas movie or music. You're relaxed in your easy chair. Got the wife all happy so she's not nagging at you. So you can make yourself a nice cocktail and just relax. Make a nice strong one because you're not going to be bothered anymore tonight. Yeah, I wouldn't advise this as a pre-Thanksgiving cocktail due to the amount of alcohol. But yeah, afterwards, just when you're able to just relax and take it easy. That's what a cocktail like this is for. And it is absolutely delicious. The apple brandy and that Watershed apple brandy finished bourbon just blend so well together. I've tried this before, but I didn't add the ginger bitters, and I like the addition of the ginger bitters, adding just that little bit of spice. And the longer you leave that cinnamon stick in there, the more cinnamon it will impart. The brandied cherry, that's not necessarily necessary, I guess. Not necessary, I guess. But I like it in there. It adds color, and the cherry works with the apple. I added just a touch. Just barely a drizzle of some of the cherry juice in it as well. But yeah, the brandied cherry adds some color, just a little bit of flavor. I'm just amazed how easy drinking this particular cocktail is, considering it is all, liquor. It is the perfect booze forward cocktail. It really is. It's just delectable, easy to drink. Start out my holiday cocktail series. I've already done a few, so I'm gonna bring some back into the fold as I get this series going from now until from now until New Year's, actually, because I'll do it a specific way up until Thanksgiving. Then we'll move into more Christmas themed cocktails, and then more New Year's, and a lot of them are going to be there's going to be a lot of similarities, but I like the idea of the apple Jack and the apple brandy and the apple brandy finished bourbon for a Thanksgiving cocktail. This feels more Thanksgiving than Christmas to me. I wanted the spice notes, so I may kind of tweak it up to maybe add more towards Christmas. I do have some cranberry bitters I hope to get involved at some point. Man, that is just delectable. That really is. I'm just, again, it's the whiskey, it's the apple brandy, so you think it might be, you feel rather potent, but it does not. They play off each other exquisitely well. Wow, it's just amazing. Oh. Cherries. What cherries should you use? Well, some will insist that you use Luxardo. Some will say Maraschka. There are other brands out there. The truth is, use what you like. My only caveat is never use that bright red cherry, right? Stay away from that. But there are other brands out there that are equally as good. Collins does some great ones, and there's other brands that do just more of a brandied cherry that works as this one is. So well, what brand are you using, Tom? Well, some folks are going to be surprised to know I want to use top ingredients, but I am a man on a budget. I will buy inexpensive items if I feel like they're top quality. In this case, I bought these particular cherries at a Trader Joe's, and I bought them there because, well, I wanted something to have in my hotel room. And honestly, they're every bit as good as the names you know. But here's my confession, is that I only use these cherries as a garnish. I know a lot of folks will eat them afterwards. I never do. I chuck them. I do. I'm not a fan, but I want that color. I want that look. And they will impart some flavor. I also, you don't see me, displaying them fancy like most folks do. And the reason for that is that it looks pretty. But that garnish isn't doing you any good at the top of your glass. You need it in your glass to be functional. And I'm all about functionality. That's why every garnish you see me use will be in my cocktail, not on my cocktail. The cinnamon stick, the cherry, yeah, they're sitting in. They're not strategically placed, right? I probably ought to get some fancy stuff to do that, but I'm just not a fancy guy. I want a nice cocktail, but I want it a working class kind of way. So anyway, slideshow. Well, they'll give you that nice cocktail, and you're, with the cherry on top, and you're supposed to just put it in your cocktail. And that's okay. But when I see folks do it at home, I think, well, what's the point, right? That cherry isn't doing you any good displayed up here, right? It's not doing you any good sitting up here. You want it inside your cocktail. So, anyway, hey man, it's your cocktail. Make it any way you want. I'm a big believer in that. If you're making them at home, hey man, it's all you, baby. It's all you. Oh, my cinnamon stick fell down there. The longer it takes you to drink this, the more cinnamon will impart. But I do prefer that I don't want to add ground spice to my cocktail. I would rather have the cinnamon stick in there because, again, it functions as a garnish, but it also very slowly imparts flavor. So there you go. Anyways, I digress. Let me wrap up here. So this cocktail I did serve shaken, right? Shaken, not stirred. But I prefer that as to having ice in the glass. I know some folks would want to serve this more like an old-fashioned with a big cube. But for me, throughout the fall and winter, you're not going to see me do that very often. I do prefer a straight-up cocktail. Is my cocktail still ice cold? No, it is not. But the truth is, a cocktail like this isn't or doesn't need to be, especially if you're using fine ingredients as I am. I'm just about 11 minutes in, and some of you are going to be surprised to know that this drink is still cold. Is it ice cold? No, but it's still cold. Again, chill your glass first. That helps. Chill your glass first. And there are different shaking techniques, and it can be a little controversial. When you go to a bar, they usually shake in a specific way. But when I've learned other techniques, there are other ways to get that drink colder faster without that forward motion. So anyway, again, going back to you do things your way. You're at home. Make it the way you want. If you want on ice, make it on ice. For me, I like a straight up cocktail, and this one is just done. Oh man, I love these flavors together. Let me show you this bottle one more time before I wrap up. Watershed Distillery, straight bourbon whiskey finished on apple brandy barrels blended with straight bourbon whiskeys, aged 4 years. It is just a delightful whiskey. It is incredible neat, but I do like it in this capacity, mixed with the Laird's bottled in bond. I am Tom the Whiskey Whisperer, Whiskey Evangelist. I'm going to take my cinema stick out while I finish my cocktail. I am Tom the Whiskey Whisperer, Whiskey Evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker, purveyor of wisdom, and all around good guy. Man, that is absolutely... Man, I'm just amazed how delicious that cocktail is. Anyway, have a good one, guys. Thanks for tuning in.